Hi everyone, today we are making carnivore chicken quesadillas. I'm Anita from KetogenicWoman.com, where I share keto and carnivore recipes and other cooking ideas. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy some of my other videos. Those of you returning, it feels like it's been forever since I've been here, but I hope you really like today's video. Okay, everyone, today I'm going to make carnivore chicken quesadillas, and while we're talking, I'll explain, ways that you can modify them. You can make them BBBE chicken quesadillas if you like, with a few tweaks. You can even make them protein-sparing modified fast chicken quesadillas. But I'm doing carnivore right now. I'm trying to keep things simple because I'm moving. Things are getting packed up. If only the camera was in the rest of the house, you'd see what a disaster things are. But I'm doing carnivore just to keep things simple. So I've got some chicken. I made some chicken breasts in the sous vide last night. It's the only way I can eat chicken breasts now. It makes them super tender, super juicy. Okay, so that's 6 ounces of chicken here that I'm going to dice up for my quesadillas. The shells are going to be made with Indigo Nili's egg white wraps or crepes, whatever you want to call them. They're perfect for this. And I will link her video below because she makes them a little different than me. I mean, the recipe is pretty much the same. Just her technique is a little different than mine. You know me, I just... I can be a bit of a train wreck, but I just want to get it done. I'll show you how I've been doing it because I packed my crepe pan. And so I have to use just a regular... Oh, and I also actually do have a griddle, kind of similar to her griddle that she uses, also packed. So all I have is my non-stick frying pan, but honestly, they work in there too, so not to worry. I'm just chopping the chicken up into little easy to manage pieces. That should do it. Okay. And I'm going to put a 1/4 cup of cheese on that I've already got here. What else do I need? That's really all the crepes. So I'm actually going to make some crepes, but I wanted to show you these. I made these last night. This is our goal. I like big ones. So I made big crepes, and it's also easier in the pan that I'm using. But look how sturdy they are. You can use them as wraps. You can put things in, roll them up. I've been using them for so many things. It's such an awesome, easy recipe. Thank you, Indigo Nili. So let's actually start, and I'll make a crepe here. In the crepes, today I'm using just regular carton egg whites. You can use real egg whites. You can use the egg white powder. 1/2 cup of egg whites to 1 scoop, which my scoop is the equivalent of about a tablespoon. And you can vary that a little bit. I've been putting Redmond's garlic salt in mine, so that's what I'm going to put in today. Now, if I had my big blender, it's packed as well. I've been doing everything in this little tiny blender. What I would do is I would make a whole batch of these things and just churn them out, because you can keep these for a few days in the fridge and just you can batch cook a stack of them, put them in the fridge, and then just use them as you need them. I'm gonna put in 1/8 of a teaspoon. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon, so I'm just gonna go about half. And my gelatin. And I have not been trying to bloom the gelatin ahead of time. I have found that it seems to work just mixing it in here. Okay, so it's going to be a little foamy on top, so I like to let it sit for a few seconds. And I'm going to now get the camera over to the stove because our next step will be to actually make the crepes. So I'm going to bring everything over there. Okay, so I'm melting 1 teaspoon of butter in my non-stick pan. The smaller the pan, probably the better, because this makes a giant crepe, which is okay. I don't mind these big crepes. If you want smaller crepes, it's easier to maybe do it on a griddle and carefully pour it into the big circle. This allows me to just dump it in, and then I use, the sides of the pan are my circle. So that's why I like the crepe pan, and I wish I hadn't packed it, but I'm not going to start opening boxes looking for it. So it is what I have. So I've made the pan hot. I've used butter. You could also use, some coconut oil or avocado oil spray, whatever you're using. So you can, carefully make some little ones, but I'm just going to dump it and make a big one. Sometimes you'll see some lumps of the gelatin, and I usually just sort of squish them out, and then I can just use my pan to kind of, it's like making an omelet kind of. Now this one is a bit thicker than what I would normally make, because usually what I do is I would double the recipe and make 3 crepes this size. So this is going to make kind of an extra big crepe. I'll probably use it as a wrap because I'm actually going to make the quesadillas with these 2 that I have left over from last night. So you just, you'll see some bubbles coming up, just like when you're making a pancake. Flipping it is another adventure in itself because I used to have an omelet flipper. I have no idea what happened to it, so I generally have to do some fancy flipping like this and then hope I don't rip it. Yeah, this one's going to be way thicker than what I would normally do for a wrap, but for illustration purposes today, just so you can kind of see, it works, and it's still going to be perfectly edible. I love how sturdy they are. And they are kind of a neutral flavor to me. They don't taste eggy. They just taste like a wrap. And adding in the garlic salt does help with that, I think. I mean, you can put in Italian seasoning if you want. Everything bagel, whatever you like. And just I think I'm going to take it out now. It's brown at the bottom. Okay, so there's one wrap that I'll have later on after it cools down. Probably have it maybe even tomorrow. I'll just put it in the fridge after it cools down. So what I want to do now is make the actual quesadillas. So putting in a little butter. I would say that's about a teaspoon of butter. And putting my first quesadilla shell down. I'm going to put the chicken on top. So while I was in the fridge, I found some leftover bacon. I know what you're thinking. Who has leftover bacon? Well, it just happened. And the cheese. Now, if you're just keto, if you're not doing carnivore, you can certainly put in, oops, I better turn that down. I'm starting to get a real brown edge. You can put in, peppers, salsa, whatever kinds of things you like. It's entirely up to you. For protein sparing, I tried this as a test. Actually, I just tried this morning. I mixed in some sugar-free cranberry sauce with some of the chopped up chicken, and I made that. It's actually really good. It's really good. It's going to be super low in fat, super high in protein. All right, flipping this is not going to be easy. I think I wonder if I should try to cut it first. Oh, the decisions. All right, I'm gonna probably some of the chicken will spill out. Ouch. Probably a lot of the chicken will spill out.
Hang on, I can salvage this.
But look how crispy the edges are getting. I love it. Okay, there we go.
See? No disaster.
Just getting it back in there. Luckily, the cheese is starting to melt and hold some of this together. One of those kids, when they moved out, they took my omelet flipper, I'm sure of it. All right. It's not going to be perfect. But as my dad used to say, oh, and I'm wearing his apron today. As my dad used to say, it's all the same in your stomach. He loves saying that. Okay. It's back intact. We have a few stray pieces of chicken, but nothing to worry about. So I'm going to just let that cook for a moment and let the cheese melt. So there you go. Probably a minute or so, and then I'll put it here and cut it. All right, so I've got my quesadilla. It's, a little bit messy, but it's still going to be good. I'm just going to cut it with the pizza cutter. I mean, there's different ways to make, when you get them from the restaurant, they're all folded nice. You can pick them up. This one, I'm sure I won't be able to pick it up because for one thing, I think I overfilled it. But the point is, it'll be delicious. I could have just made this like one big, I could have probably just folded it over instead of putting two, one on top. I try it a different way pretty much every time, just to see which works best. So folding it over probably works better than what I did here, but that's okay. So you can top this with some sour cream and some more cheese. If you're carnivore, if you're keto, put some salsa on it, any of your favorite toppings. I'm just going to take a little bite, see what that bacon tastes like in there. All right, I'm actually trying to pick this up with my hand so I can take a bite. Things are falling everywhere. Do the fold over one, I'll show you in a minute. I gotta take a bite. Thank goodness it tastes amazing. Doesn't matter that it's falling apart. But here's what I would do, is I would maybe make 2 quesadillas, put your filling in, fold it over in half in the pan. It's gonna be way easier to flip. And then you can just cut it one way. Or I bet you there's other ways. I'm not a professional cook by any means, and so I don't know all the different ways to do it. But I'm going to cover this and save it for lunch because it's pretty much what I had for breakfast this morning, but I didn't have the bacon. Bacon really adds a lot to this. This is awesome. But there you go, carnivore quesadillas. You'd have to omit the cheese if you're doing it for protein sparing. For keto, load on your toppings and just pick it up, let it fall all over you. It doesn't matter. It's gonna taste good. So yeah, where are we anyways? It's March already, and I'm moving in 6 weeks. So it's coming up. I don't know when I'm going to see you again. It was really hard to do a video just for personal reasons. Some of you probably all know my personal reasons, but yeah, it's just been a trying week. It's there's Ukraine for one thing. It's heavy on my mind. I mean, I was talking to my aunt, and she was giving me a rundown of which cousin lives where, and which I got second cousins, third. I've got relatives I didn't even know I had there. So that was a bit shocking. And my aunt passed away 2 days ago, and so that's very sad. And today I'm going to go see my mother. This is her sister, her youngest sister. My aunt was only 73, not that much older than me, but yeah. So I'm going to go see my mom today. I'm not going to tell her today. I'm not ready to tell her. It's hard to tell her things because she forgets right away. And so I'm going to wait until I've got a copy of the obituary and different things like that to bring her. I'll do my duty and tell her, knowing that she'll forget. And I'll just never mention it again after that. Just the same thing happened when my sister died in October. I went, I told her, and she, even though there were sympathy cards all over her room there, from all the relatives, she would always ask me how my sister was every time I went. So she just forgets. So I'll tell her once, and that's it. I mean, that's the only way that I can do it. So anyways, didn't want to end on such a down note. So I'm going to end it there, and I really hope I see you again sooner than later. And if I come up with some brilliant, I mean, I've always got ideas, but if I come up with some burning idea that I just have to film, you'll see me sooner. So talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.